Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. I'm Laura Milojevic. I am the Director of Marketing and Business Development at Simplify. We have our Managing Partner, John Essig, presenting on today's webinar. The topic is evaluating your options, upgrade SAP BPC, or convert to the cloud. Please feel free to reach out to John or myself after the webinar with any questions. And now I will hand it over to John. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, thanks, Lauren, and thanks everyone for joining. Just cover off quick our agenda for today. We'll make sure give you an update on SAP's planning consolidations product strategy, spend a couple minutes on that to ensure you understand the direction that SAP is headed in. We at Simplify, we are very tightly aligned with their product management teams, strategy teams, etc. And a lot of this information is available publicly. We've kind of just pieced it together to make it simple for you to hopefully digest. We'll discuss some of the upgrade options for BPC. So whether you're interested, you're on BPC Microsoft, BPC NetWeaver, there are end of maintenance dates coming up in the end of 2020 for people on BPC version 10. So, you could upgrade to version 10.1, you could upgrade to version 11, you could look at deploying SAP Analyst Cloud or other tools. So we'll discuss that. Want to provide you an overview of SAP's Cloud Extension Program. This is a program that SAP introduced last year. So if you are interested in converting to a cloud-based solution such as SAP Analyst Cloud, you can get kind of credit for some of your maintenance costs to make your overall costs a little bit more affordable. We'll go through BPC versus SAP Analyst Cloud product comparison, also include SAP Group Reporting for Consolidation tool in there, and then a quick demo. So high level from BPC, direction, a statement of really SAP's intent and roadmap. On the P part of SAP's business planning consolidation, for companies that are open to a cloud-based deployment, SAP Analyst Cloud is the recommended tool. SAP is really investing and on a go-forward basis, is a cloud-first company, right? But if you're requiring an on-premise solution, BPC is still a great option for planning and analytics deployment. On the consolidation side, if you are utilizing SAP S/4HANA, SAP has introduced a tool called Group Reporting for Consolidations, which enables continuous accounting, consolidations, eliminations of your data for reporting purposes. But that sits directly on S/4HANA, so you have to be on that platform to leverage that tool. If you're not on S/4HANA, SAP BPC continues to be SAP's strategic tool for those standalone consolidation applications or on-premise deployments. As far as like competitors and things that are out in the market, there's been a lot of kind of misdirection and misinformation. So SAP put together this slide just to be, really clear on their future. Yes, SAP is focusing on the cloud from a go-forward perspective, but BPC isn't going anywhere, right? SAP still supports versions of previous planning tools and BCS and ECCS consolidations tools from generations ago, right? So not, SAP BPC continues to be the go-to on-premise planning tool or standalone consolidation solution for SAP strategically. If you're updated on the latest, versions, or if you're on 10.1 NetWeaver, the current maintenance and support goes through 2024. And as the SAP Business Warehouse platform extends support, and newer versions of BPC are released, that maintenance dates are expected to extend as well. SAP is, a cloud-first company, so major new planning enhancements will be delivered in SAP Analyst Cloud. BPC customers can take advantage of those enhancements. If they're happy with their BPC deployment for planning, you can augment your planning deployment with a hybrid deployment with Analytics Cloud, so that you can take advantage of some of the flexible planning capabilities in SAP Analyst Cloud. You can take advantage of the collaboration, the BI, the analytics, and predictive, while still leveraging your existing BPC investment. So that's something to be aware of. We have a lot of customers that have started here where, they just hook in their SAP Analytics Cloud to their existing BPC model, and then they're, doing BI, right? Or they're doing a quick start program for BI, or they're doing a sales planning deployment, right? So for future planning deployments, there's no reason not to continue using BPC if you're not happy with it. But one thing would be to consider is the augmentation or with the SAP Analytics Cloud tool. And this just kind of reiterates that SAP planning consolidation strategy from a cloud perspective. The SAP Analytics Cloud tool brings together corporate planning like you had in BPC, and you could do departmental planning in BPC, but SAP Analyst Cloud is better at deploying to non-financial users with a simple Chrome interface. It's really easy to use. That's where sometimes BPC fell a little short with the Excel interface. And strategically, SAP is saying, for our understanding of what our customers are asking for and what the market, and we want analytics and departmental planning, corporate planning, predictive all together on one platform, right? It's continuously what the customers in the market is demanding. So strategically, SAP has created one flexible, collaborative tool that supports all these requirements in one place. It does also support management consolidation requirements, but through legal consolidations, continuous accounting, that's available within the SAP group reporting tool, which essentially sits on top of the S4 platform, right? So that you're not replicating data, pushing it back and forth. For those SAP customers, it simplifies that deployment. And SAP Analytics Cloud is actually the reporting tool that sits on top of group reporting too. If you're an existing BPC customer and you're looking at, version 11 for deployment, for upgrading, I'm curious what kind of enhancements you get out of that. Certainly from a web reporting perspective, there's some enhancements. The web portal administration kind of console is enhanced. Well, then if you're not leveraging HANA today, you definitely have a uptick in performance with HANA, with optimized HANA environments. It changes what you can do from a modeling perspective as far as dimensions. You can have dimensions with hundreds of thousands of numbers of reports that take a few seconds to run. So really, HANA does provide a lot of not just reporting and query, but also calculation and ETL enhancements. And then on the version 11, if you're utilizing the BW platform underneath that, it also simplifies some of the ETL process. So there's a lot of advantage that you can go to if you're not on HANA yet today, to go into version 11, adopting HANA. And you can do that with the latest version of BPC 11 without buying, HANA database or the HANA platform. I think there's a small uptick in license as a proportion of your original license, but it is, relatively small. Essentially, you get a license to use HANA when you upgrade to BPC 11, so you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Product availability maintenance date, just so you're aware. And every time I publish these, I go on to SAP's product availability matrix to make sure I have the latest and greatest information and nothing's changed. So these are the latest and greatest dates here with version 10 for both BPC Microsoft. Going, support ends on 12/31 of 2020. For the NetWeaver version, support ends on 12/31 of 2020 as well. So if you're on version 10, something that you should probably be planning for now, or maybe already hopefully started planning for, so that you have continued support. So if you're on the Microsoft platform, you can continue on the Microsoft platform with a small hop upgrade. This isn't, a big, huge, costly upgrade to version 10.1, and that buys you, essentially a couple of years, right? If you're happy with your existing deployment. If you're on NetWeaver, you upgrade to 10.1, that gives you all the way through 2024. But certainly if you're on Microsoft, if you're doing this now, you could consider moving to the NetWeaver BPC 11 version or 10.1 version, which will make sure your support is extended and you can take advantage of some of these performance enhancements that I was mentioning a little bit earlier. If that's a pain point for you today, that can certainly be a lot of times solved with the HANA platform and these performance enhancements. So upgrade options. You want to upgrade to BPC Microsoft. If you're on 10.0, if you want to upgrade to 10.1, again, this provides some limited web reporting enhancements, but the main benefit is just extending your maintenance, making sure you're covered. So if that's something, happened, if you had an issue with Excel, whatever, you're supported, and SAP will stand behind that through that extended maintenance. So another option would be to migrate to the HANA to the HANA platform, to BPC NetWeaver or 11.1 BW for HANA. There are additional, upfront licensing costs for this, and if you're not in SAP shop, you may want to host this environment. So instead of paying someone internally, $60,000, $70,000, whatever it is, to maintain that environment. If you're not in SAP shop, you may be better off having a hosting provider host that environment and take care of that for you for a monthly fee. As I mentioned before, there is a small potential, licensing fee to convert to the HANA platform, but you don't have to buy HANA if you want to upgrade here. Consulting costs. This is going to be a little bit more expensive to migrate versus just to do a small hop upgrade. But again, it buys you additional time and gives you performance enhancements. It also has the benefit of very tight integration with SAP Analyst Cloud. So certainly something to consider when you're looking to upgrade. And then last, from an options perspective, you can also look at if you're, especially if you're not happy with your BPC Microsoft deployment, or there are things that, you would like to change. So you could implement SAP Analyst Cloud and take advantage of additional capabilities and flexibility, collaboration, the Chrome-based deployment. If I were going to start from scratch today with the planning tool, this is the tool that I would start with. If you're relatively happy with the BPC model, a fourth option could be to upgrade BPC and then extend it with Analytics Cloud capabilities versus re-implementing, right? Certainly re-implementing is going to have the largest consulting cost. There are some licensing programs that can help offset licensing associated with this. On the NetWeaver side, if you're on 10.0, you can upgrade to 10.1, and as you saw on the previous screen, that gives you support through 2024. It does have some web reporting enhancements and some small kind of scripting enhancements. The other option would be to upgrade to BPC 11. Consulting cost-wise, this isn't hugely different. There's some underlying piping that you can optimize, but you can choose not to optimize if you want to keep your consulting costs down. And then there is a licensing event associated with that. But again, you're not buying HANA if you're just using BW and HANA for BPC, or BW for HANA, I should say. So another really good option to look at, implement SAP Analyst Cloud. Again, if you're not happy with your BPC deployment, this is something to consider, or as an extension to it. And then another option, if you're on the SAP platform, for SAP S/4HANA customers requiring more complex kind of real-time legal consolidations, you could consider moving to this tool. SAP Analyst Cloud has a pretty good amount of adoption already. Group reporting, it does not have quite as high of an adoption yet. So when you're looking at those options, if deploying, especially if you're a BPC Microsoft customer, you're looking at going to, version 11, or if you're just looking to offload the, in-house maintenance, cloud deployment for BPC can be, a great option. It does come, so this could be done through an Amazon Web Services. This could be done through a third-party provider like one of our partners, Pacific Cloud Services or Symmetry. But this comes with flexibility, right? You need, more RAM, more ROM, whatever. They'll flex this up and down for you. This is what they're focused on. This is what they do. They're specialized in this space, so they can manage the BPC platform for you. Again, especially if you're a Microsoft customer and you don't have existing SAP platforms, you can have someone do this on a fee basis for you monthly and take care of all this stuff for you. This is definitely, tried and proven at this point, many clients and many years over, with a number of different providers that are available to provide a cloud deployment. Earlier, I mentioned, just to go back to the agenda, kind of the product strategy update that I walked through, the upgrade options for BPC. Also wanted to educate people on SAP's Cloud Extension Program. So this is what I was mentioning can help offset, if you were looking to go to SAP Analyst Cloud, for example, for planning, analytics, BI, predictive, can help offset some of the licensing costs associated with it. So what is the SAP Cloud Conversion Program? This is a program offered by SAP. It provides a credit essentially for on-premise maintenance fees that you can apply towards SAP Analyst Cloud or another SAP Cloud subscription license purchase. So what does that mean? If you currently run BPC and you want to convert to SAP Analyst Cloud, you want to re-implement on SAP Analyst Cloud, which we can essentially take your BPC model, stand that up pretty quickly, Analyst Cloud. But then the reports, logic, etc., that truly needs to be rebuilt on the new platform, right? So if you're going to convert, essentially for that first year of conversion, your maintenance fees for BPC can be credited towards your cloud subscription. So this doesn't apply to hosting BPC on the cloud. That's really done by a third-party provider. But does apply if you're looking to re-implement with SAP Analyst Cloud, which is available at the start of whatever your next contract maintenance renewal period is. How do you take advantage of this program? So this is a great program. One of our customers starting just in the next month utilize this program to offset historical. Essentially, they're migrating off of BOBJ, not BPC. But the first year of SAP Analyst Cloud licenses is essentially, free to them. Which is not just the licensing, but also the systems, everything, right? So as they're deploying, they didn't have to pay for that additional licensing and infrastructure as they're converting their on-premise applications for it. Product capabilities, so SAP BPC. So this is just to kind of line these products up. So I discussed earlier when I flashed up, from a strategy perspective, SAP Analyst Cloud combines corporate planning, departmental planning, analytics, predictive. BPC to corporate planning consolidations, right? And group reporting is consolidations right on top of your ERP. But I wanted to put together this slide just to kind of hammer home that point and highlight some key differences between these tools. So SAP BPC provides, obviously full consolidations tools adopted by, tons of companies, full enterprise planning, financial reporting. It's really good for, heavy Excel usage and reporting, has the baked-in ETL. And then if you're running it on HANA, it's certainly big data ready, right? Compare that to SAP Analyst Cloud. The focus of SAP Analyst Cloud is analytics, planning, and predictive. It does have some management consolidations capabilities. So I know I have a lot of customers out there that are utilizing BPC for consolidations that could actually utilize SAP Analyst Cloud for like management consolidations, right? If you're consolidating many different ERP systems and really have a complex system, or if you're running on S4, there might be better options out there. But if the capabilities around analytics, predictive planning are highly desirable, and you need to, configure eliminations and cash flows, that is a capability available within SAP Analyst Cloud. The SAP Analyst Cloud, you have full planning capabilities. You really have more of a collaborative, kind of flexible planning, a new approach that you don't have with BPC, right? BPC can pretty much do anything you want, right? The SAP Analyst Cloud, provides kind of a new approach, collaborative planning functionality, flexible planning functionality, and can do 90% of what, at this point in my perspective, of what BPC can do from a enterprise planning perspective, point of view. You can do financial reporting. This is web heavy, so the main interface is Chrome. There is Excel available. What we see most of our customers are really, focused on Chrome. It's also big data ready. SAP Analyst Cloud runs on HANA. SAP is essentially hosting that for you as a shared service, right? Complex ETL, unlike BPC, ETL doesn't come with it, so we can add that on, via separate cloud plugins that, integrate and work with SAP Analyst Cloud, but it doesn't come with that ETL, right? So if you're just pulling from BW or you're pulling from a source and you're not having to map or convert data, you don't need another ETL tool, but for more complex requirements, you can look at a plugin to go with SAP Analyst Cloud. And it's got pretty heavy current adoption. A lot of customers, not like BPC, we don't have as many customers where they have, 20 models or applications deployed, right, over, 6-7 years. But there are a lot of customers out there leveraging this tool today and starting on that longer term journey. Group reporting for consolidations, full consolidations with limited adoption. They do have, this is in GA. From my understanding, there are live customers, but our customers are more kind of in the early stages of evaluating this, at least. This is targeted to more of SAP customers. So again, you actually need to be on S/4HANA to leverage the functionality of this tool. And the concept of that, again, is SAP's bringing consolidations back, to your core, which is what the market's asking for, so that you can run real-time consolidations reporting, do a continuous close. And then there are options from an ETL tool perspective, leveraging central finance, whatever it makes sense for your company. Reporting would still leverage either Analysis for Office, SAP Analyst Cloud, or another plugin, but SAP recommends kind of these first tools first. So it's just a quick kind of comparison of the tools. So hopefully this PowerPoint kind of helps you understand it, at least as an introduction, give you an idea of maybe where you want to head based off of your scenario. We're happy to help, continue working with you in your evaluation or look at your specific scenario and help come up with a recommendation. But we're just going to wrap up, if you haven't seen SAP Analyst Cloud yet today, I'm going to wrap up just with a kind of a quick demo of the capabilities that are available within the tool. So again, this does run on Chrome. There is an Excel plugin available, but I'm not going to focus on that today. This is my actual user kind of launch page or dashboard, so you can pin different visualizations or tasks that are assigned to me onto this dashboard. You can look at, your recent stories that you pulled up. If we go to our menu bar here, from here you can do all the things, if you're a BPC user, that you would expect to be able to do in BPC as well, right? So you can model data, you can, automate extraction and uploading of dimensions. You can, utilize this tool for allocations, for data actions, which is essentially, what you have data manager in BPC. You have these data actions in SAP Analyst Cloud. Supports currency translations. Within this tool, obviously you can do dashboards, but you can do really picky dashboards and kind of program them if you want. But not necessary, right? You can use the self-service story creation capability within this tool. You have the ability to utilize calendars. This is a fully secure system, just like you would have in BPC, right, with teams and roles and profiles. And then, Typically with SAP Analyst Cloud, you could just have one environment. You could procure two environments, production and test. We don't see as many companies getting three environments. But you can export and kind of import between the environments like you would with like a transport, kind of similar to that. You can set up connections, so SAP Analyst Cloud can sit right on top of BPC, can sit on top of BW, can sit on top of HANA, can read from BobJ, right? So in those ways, it can work together with your on-premise investments. But I'm just going to take you to a couple report kind of examples, maybe show you one planning example. So if I click on the finance dashboard here, this just shows, a few different actions I can take. I can look at some of our different reporting books or analytics for sales, for profitability analytics, our P&L book. I can launch into, any one of the planning processes, P&L planning, margin planning, expense, HR, CapEx planning. So this supports the kind of the full suite of planning again, like BPC does today. Just to show you some example reports. Again, from a grid-based reporting, you kind of get, very, somewhat similar type reporting to what you would get in BPC, kind of Excel-like, but you also get the kind of the dashboarding and BI capabilities that are available with the tool too. So this is just an example of kind of just like a nice little dashboard, actual versus budget, with the revenue bridge, right? And like in BPC, you have a context. You can put, story filters up on the top. You can also put page filters within your SAP Analyst Cloud dashboards as well. So within these page filters, right now I have just wholesale and distributor selected from a segment. I can change that filter in my, whatever graphics I want to update, and tiles just all update accordingly based off of that selection. And next I'll show you an example of the grid-based reporting, but this is an example of a lot of people like to do this kind of like waterfall type reporting. So this example looks at a revenue for budget versus revenue for actual, and utilizes SAP Analyst Cloud advanced formulas, like you could utilize BPC script to calculate variances due to volume changes, price, mix. You could add commentary into this. So this is pretty robust, and not just robust calculation engine, but also, robust way to visualize this data. You're not then taking this and exporting it to ThinkCell or PowerPoint or something like this. You could do this all very dynamically within the tool. Similar to BPC, right now I'm looking at US dollars. I could run the same, dashboard or report in local currency. Could change time selections, company code selections. You can inherit all the hierarchies from BPC, from BW, from HANA, or from any non-SAP structured source. We just need a column with the dimension and the hierarchy, and we can build it up automatically for you. So we can do that just with Excel files. So this is a revenue bridge example. Here's a OI bridge example, which kind of shows you the full bridge of operating income and that price volume mix, and variances due to changes in SG&A, variances due to changes in FX impact as well. So hopefully this gives you a nice idea of some of the visualization capabilities that are available within the tool, really applicable for scenarios for BPC user community. I'll next just go on the P&L report book. Similar to BPC, you can also utilize kind of like a book republishing functionality within SAP Analyst Cloud. So this is more of a report book with more kind of standard grid-based reports that I'll go into in a second here. But you can come into this schedule. You can pick your months on the other tabs. You can pick quarter to date, year to date, month to date, whatever makes most sense. Once you've made your selections, from these story filters, you could change your country selection. You could change your company code selection, and just like I showed you with the page filters earlier, that'll update automatically. But we can also just publish this out. So I could go to File, Export, and I can export this as a PDF. I can also export this as a Google slide. I can pick the pages, and then I can do a batch export. So I could run all these same reports across any one of these story filters. So I could run this, by company code or by country, and then publish out PDFs accordingly, right? And essentially this runs on this active tab, or I can run it in the background, and I could just duplicate the tab and go work on something else while that book publisher is running. Some of the example reports, if we click on the comparative tab here, So this is more of an example of, that grid-based type of reporting, really applicable to, to finance as well. So we have, a summary income statement with some of our calculations and ratios for gross profit margin, except OI margin, etc. This is stacks comparative, so it's looking at actual budget variance, month to date, quarter to date, year to date, right? And this is all dynamic. If we wanted to drill into, net sales and understand, what accounts make up net sales, we can just click on the little arrow and drill up and down. We can get, fairly picky with formatting within these grids and spacing, like you can see on here. And again, we change selections. This all updates accordingly based off our hierarchies and everything. So that's just a quick example of comparative. I have an example here of a, trended report, example of consolidating report. That could all go in a, report book. This is accessible via, mobile. So there is an iOS application. SAP is coming out with an Android application, but even just if you're running an Android tablet, you could just pull this up in Chrome and look at kind of monthly flash financial dashboards. That's where a lot of our companies we've worked with have started, as well as kind of extended planning, if they're not doing more of a big bang approach. Commentary, this tool can also collect, commentary and information. So, if you wanted to explain a variance period over period, you can just type that in, place your comment, and that saves it to the database, right? And then with this, will actually show up within a separate column like this if you wanted to. So if I'm looking at a variance report, and we talked about kind of collaborations, there's a number of different ways to collaborate within the tool. But just, an example here, if I'm looking at the schedule, I can just kind of create a discussion with someone else that I'm working with. I can invite a participant, or multiple participants to that discussion and just share these files very, very easily. So I go ahead and I hit OK on here. I can embed a specific story that I'm looking at. I can just type in, a message, please investigate, variance for this line, and then link the story, and then boom, that shares it with anyone who has SAP Analyst Cloud access, right? Similarly, the sharing of stories and can all be done through file folders that can be secured just like you would expect them to be, but through this collaboration functionality, this is pretty neat as well. So that's just a quick example of some of the reporting capabilities. On the planning side, we have some pre-built content here that companies can leverage when they're looking to deploy SAP Analyst Cloud. But here's a nice kind of example for sales and margin type planning. So it just provides kind of a dashboard with different steps. Similar to BPC, there are process flows. So, and as it relates to the collaboration, I'm not going to show this today, but you can kick off a planning process and assign it to users based off of, properties within a dimension, and it will send them an email and say, hey, you've got to fill it out before X date. And it does that all automatically. It only takes someone a few hours, a couple hours to set up the user table or whatever, right? There's no programming. So that, again, is another way to collaborate. It'll automatically send reminders to them. You can also push a button and send anonymous reminders to them. But yeah, it really kind of drives them right to the activity that they actually need to do. Like I said, when you're looking to deploy this outside of finance, it's especially useful because you might have someone that's coming on here and just really interacting with a couple planning areas that they're responsible for and a couple dashboards, right? So you can blast it out to them and kind of enforce those due dates via those process flows. But this is just kind of a nice dashboard, right? You can look at for margin planning some of our different steps. I'll show you the sales planning volume step here. And outside of collaboration, again, one of the other big pieces or advantages of this tool is kind of the flexibility within the solution. So if you look at like sales volume planning, for example, with a large company, if we're deploying this to 5 different businesses and they all want to have different things in their rows, with BPC and traditional planning tools like Essbase, you pay a consultant a lot of money to build all these different views and all the different logic and the input nodes and everything associated with it. This tool is a lot more flexible, right? If you want to do volume planning, whatever you want to have in your rows, you can just go to your report editor and you can add and change the dimensionality and resave the template for that business unit. So there's actually, a lot less kind of upfront configuration and development that's required. This is much, much more flexible. All we're doing, when we're looking at volume planning in this example, for example, we're seeding the volumes at the lowest level of detail that people might want to plan at. So we're actually seeding this. We're not showing it to you, but we're seeding this by ship to and material SKU, right? I guess we are showing material here, but here we're just showing customer group. So we're seeding it down to this lower level of granularity. And then SAP Analyst Cloud has this flexibility and aggregation functionality, so you don't have to plan at your lowest level of detail. You can plan at whatever level of detail you want. And this is something that our customers have really appreciated. So, for example, if you were starting off your 2019 planning process, this could all be zeroed out, right? You could just seed this with the data action like you would with the DPC data manager action. That'll pre-populate. If I run that, I've already actually kicked off the step. It just takes, 5-10 seconds, but it'll pre-populate your volumes, for example. You could apply different growth rates in there. You could do that with drivers and incorporate in the logic, or you could just do it on the template and say, hey, from a target setting perspective, I expect, this is actually wide open across our company, but I want to start off with a, built-in 5% growth rate into our volume. And then I can go down specifically by my different materials and customers and update the numbers, as it makes sense. So this is just a very simple example of, volume planning and some of that, built-in flexibility. I could plan this at the customer level, again, by these subtotals, whatever level of detail makes most sense. And I'll also just show, it does, again, SAP Analyst Cloud does have that calculation engine that comes with it. So, planning volumes, you can also plan these different drivers, like for pricing. And that disaggregation works really well with these drivers for pricing. Also, so if I look at, average pricing, I can use my historical data, again, to pre-populate my budget periods. And then these average prices are actually weighted average. So again, our data goes down to material and goes down to ship to, but we just want to, in this example, plan pricing at material group and customer level. And then I could plan at these subtotals. I could plan, to these specific nodes, change that to 45, and that actually disaggregates that price based off of a weighted average the way you would actually want to do it. So it's pretty neat built-in functionality. You don't have to pay someone to do. So this is, again, some of the benefits, the flexibility of this tool. And then just like you would in BPC, you can then, there's a number of different drivers. You configure this however you want based off your business requirements. But then you can run essentially your data action, which is like a data manager package, to then go and calculate and dollarize your sales. So that's it. That's all I want to show. Hopefully this helps kind of, if you haven't started your evaluation process, helps point you in the right direction. If you have started, hopefully it, has brought up some good things for you to consider. Please feel free to reach out to, Simplify, Lauren, or myself if we can help in that evaluation process in any way. I hope the demo was helpful to kind of understand, hey, if we did want to consider, upgrading BPC, or we did want to consider extending capabilities or even re-implementing, what could we get, right? When you have a forced upgrade like this, especially if you're on version 10, it's a nice opportunity to reevaluate your requirements, especially if you're not totally happy with the tool that you have today, and come up with a business case and justification to really get what you want going forward. So before we wrap up, let's open this up to any questions. Lauren, are there any questions that you see on here? I always have trouble seeing them come through.
Yeah, I see one. It says. So just
I see
so
the comment
if you have
group reporting, but then it looks like there's another one on here. I can't read all of these.
Okay, so you see the one in group reporting. That's the only one that I see.
Okay, cool. So yeah, there's a comment from one of our attendees around group reporting that licensing is included with S4. So yeah, did not mean to imply I'm not an expert around the licensing for group reporting, but it does require, S4 licensing. I'm not sure if there's additional add-on to that as well. I'm sorry if I misspoke on that, but it's good call out. Any other questions?
I see one more. It is, what is the strategy for standalone BPC versions beyond 2024?
Yeah, so what SAP has said is they intend to continue to extend the support and maintenance along with the kind of aligned with the BW platform. So as SAP continues to release new BW environment, BPC, the current plan is that will continue to be supported. So what SAP has said, end of last year is essentially, as you see, you're going to see new versions, BPC 11.2, whatever it is, released on the latest BW4 platform with extended maintenance dates. Those are going to continue to be aligned.
Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending, and have a great day. And again, feel free to reach out to us if we can help.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye.